coming. Pitchfork peasants with murder in their eyes.
Why don't you start from the beginning?
This fella comes in.
It wants a case of frozen orange juice concentrate, which... Is that... Can you make meth from that?
Not last I heard.
Fargo.
Well, I'm totally spoiled, of course, but I also had time in between. So I finished Leftovers in September, and I had been playing Nora for 3 years, which I think is the perfect amount of time to play somebody. But then to sort of pop in and play Gloria was such a wonderful gift because it was very, you know, that world's very physical. There are a lot of outside conditions. So it was kind of all about once you put on that costume, that stiff police uniform and that belt and that hat and that accent, you're already kind of doing it. And it was a lot, and what a great cast, you know. I had 2 wonderful casts. I think the appeal of Fargo is about a very specific world, right, that people can understand but aren't necessarily in. And that there's this idea of moral ambiguity, that the people are not good or bad, and it's very revealing to the viewer. If they're judging the action of a character, it says more about you than it does about the character. And I think that's really active art, and that's the kind of art I like to make. Oh, I mean, she's not that far from me. I grew up in the Midwest, and the women in my family are very stoic. They're not very fully expressed. They're very practical. They get things done. You know, they believe that bad things don't happen to good people, or at least that you're in control of that. You know, you make good decisions, then bad things won't happen. But of course, the world doesn't actually work like that. A lot of sort of randomness, and I just think they have a special place in my heart. And Gloria reminds me of the women that I grew up with in Ohio. I can't really, I don't know how I got here. You know, of course, I didn't set out to be on television. I started in the theater, and so the fact that The Leftovers came along, I think that kind of work maybe begets work, so it makes sense maybe that Fargo followed after it, but I still feel like the luckiest girl in the world. I know that's a cliche, but that's how I feel. It's really incredible. Oh, well, I think they can expect, it's definitely a Noah Hawley world. I think season 2 was a big cast, and I think we bring it down into something smaller. And I think there's a real, he's not constrained by the expectations of seasons 1 and 2, so I think there will be some surprises. You may think it feels like Fargo, season 1 and season 2, and then it subverts your expectations, and that's what I love about Noah. He does that all the time.